Blessings and peace, everybody. Right now, this is going to be more of a freestyle video. Right now, I am at a dock right now. I don't know if y'all can see it. I'm at a dock right now. This is one of my peaceful spots I like to come, especially during times like this, where the sunlight is available freely, openly, where I can get as much sunlight as possible. And my throat is a little bit hoarse from all that sugar drinks, that sugar slushy that I was drinking. I do eat sugary food sometimes, every so often, but I know how to cleanse myself out. That's why I'm able to still look so young. Anyways, so it's more of a freestyle, and Spirit came through and told me this is a perfect time to go ahead and start talking about stuff. So I got a few things that I want to talk about. One of the things I guess I'm going to talk about, or what is the top thing I should talk about? Childhood issues. And I was recently speaking with someone today about his issues that he has with his baby mother. And that made me think about what's going on with a lot of people and their childhood issues. And childhood issues is what I've learned from my own personal development, and I finally got out of a lot of my childhood issues, including social programs. The childhood issues mixed with the social programs that literally limits people to a very, very low childlike level. Many people think that they're an adult because of our matrix system that we live in. It programs people to think that because they have a car, they have money, a job in their own place, that they are actually an adult. No, you're not an adult just because you have those material possessions. A 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old can have those material possessions, but still be psychologically an adult, and being able to understand the aspects of their mind, the universe, and a variety of other stuff. They can be an adult, but just because you have the material possessions and you have that age, you're past 18, it doesn't mean that you're an adult. An adult starts within the mind of an individual. You have to have the mind first. And the adult-like mind is being able to understand what your mind is, first and foremost, how to utilize it, how to program it, and you understand a variety of laws of the universe. You understand you have a lot of life wisdom that actually works for yourself, and you can share with others people. You did the personal development work. You resolved a variety of your psychological issues that allows you to be psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually stable. That is the top main aspects of adulthood. There are other aspects of adulthood, but those are the top main ones. If you have not reached largely amount of those things, and you don't even know what those things are, then you're not truly an adult. And I just gotta put it out there. And I didn't realize this until I actually put in the personal development work for many, many years, and even more now. And with this psychological reconditioning, I'm slurring and stuttering a little bit because I'm trying to slow myself down, because I'm usually a fast talker and I got all this energy inside of me, but now I'm relaxed, so I can go a little bit slow. Okay, so I didn't realize what an adult was until I actually did the personal development work and did the psychological reconditioning, to where now I actually have a lot more knowledge, and I could perceive why people think that they're an adult. And so they think that they can actually have children. And this is one of the things that I have to tell people, is that one of the worst things a person can do is to have children during their teenage years. Let's go ahead and talk about that. When you have children during your teenage years, that actually stunts your psychological and emotional growth. That slows it down to where that time you're supposed to actually be growing psychologically, whether it be your mother, your father, somebody's supposed to be helping you grow. Or if you actually have the spiritual inner guidance that you are aware of, and you're following it, like I was. And when I was 16, I was following my spiritual guidance that came through. And one of the things it told me to avoid having children at the age of 16. And just having children in general. Just avoid having children in general. And to study my family and learn from their experiences. And that's what I've been doing. I've been learning from my family experiences and a lot of people around me, and learning the do's and don'ts. And I can see what's going on, and I see now me avoiding having children. I see the difference, and I'm happy that I avoided having them. And it's terrible to have them when you're in the teenage years, in the early 20s. And I can see it now, the negative effects regarding my family members and also a lot of other people. So those times is when you're supposed to be developing your mind and your body and your emotions and your spirituality, so that you can prepare yourself for life. And whenever people have their children in their teenage years, the majority of them, it takes them a long time to actually evolve psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually. And some of them, they still children, like in the 40s and 50s. That's why I'm not mad at my mother, my father, because they had me young. They had children young, my sisters, they had them young. So I was like, oh, okay, so I see what's going on now. And then they actually are not focused on their own personal development to evolve themselves either. So they just following their social programming. Social programming, that's the programming that comes from this matrix system that we exist in, from the commercial media, religion, your schooling system, and a lot of different other aspects. And that social programming is programming that is beneficial to the system, but unbeneficial for the actual individuals as far as us. Once you actually see what social programming is doing to you and has done to you, you will realize that it F's you up for real. And it limits your advanced mind that you have, but you don't realize that you actually have. And I didn't realize that I actually have it until I actually got outside of a large portion of my social programming. So the social programming also programs people to be terrible parents. It captures people's minds early while they're young and they're watching TV. And in TV, the music, and a lot of other different areas programs people to be terrible parents. So by the time they get a certain age, that sexual age, they ready to get it on, and they thinking that it's love, but it's really just lust. You got to learn the difference between love and lust. Certain song lyrics say something like that. I think I heard it before. A rapper or somebody said that, but that just came to my mind now. And also those moments where I analyze that sexual energy that then gives you a sexual mindset, aka I don't know, is horny saying, is that a bad word? That's not really a bad word, just saying horny. I'm trying to keep this clean though. But when you really horny and you so-called love a person, you think that actually is love when you in that sexual state, and you start thinking about having babies. That is something that a lot of the young people are not taught. They're not taught the difference. They're not taught how to deal with their sexual energy. They're not taught how to actually even have sex. They're not taught that. They're not taught the psychological processes that go on during that horniness, and how to control it and how to harness it and focus it on something that actually is beneficial, rather than just blindly giving themselves sexually to other individuals. So what happens many times is people think that they're in love when they're in this infatuation during these early stages of relationships, regarding the relationships in their youth. So whether it be a mistake or they actually talked about having children, they end up having them. And then they got these social programs that they're operating off of that makes them think that they're an adult. All right, so the thing is, and then while they have the child, the social programming, and then the psychological issues from their childhood, and the daddy issues and the mother issues, that negatively affects themselves and their relationships. And it negatively affects them in so many different ways that many people don't even realize what's going on. So, like, for example, if a male or female had issues with one of their parents, they're more than likely somehow going to take it out on other genders on the outside world that they're dealing with one way or another. If a female had a child, her had issues with her father, and she really never had that strong love and that strong attention from her father, 9 times out of 10 she's going to project those issues out on any other guys that she deals with, especially closely and intimately, including keeping their children away from the male. That's what I gotta tell you. And vice versa too. Sometimes it's the male that keeps the children away from the female. Bottom line, whatever gender you are, that is a big no-no, unless the actual other parent really is not a good example for the child, and they are a nuisance and a physical liability. That's different. I understand that. But if you are actually in your deep childhood issues, like a lot of people are, and you really are not able to perceive the actual clouded perception that you have versus what actually is, and the other individual is actually trying their hardest to be with your child, and they don't even care about being with you. And if they don't care about being with you, then go ahead and let the child be with their parent. You gotta let go of your childhood issues. So what? Your father, your mother wasn't there for you. So what? You gotta look at your child and what your child needs to be like, and they have to grow, and it's good for them to be with their parent that actually wants to be in their life. If the other parent wants to be in their life and there's really no physical liability, there's no psychological liability, that's really, really alarming, then relax. Let them do what they do, or at least be with them and let them be together, or something like that. There's always a compromise that has to go on. You have to compromise somehow, some way, to allow the other parent to see their child, and at the same time, you got to stop pumping those negative beliefs into your child too. About that gender, like, for example, women saying that men are all dogs. That's what my mother used to say around me, and that's terrible. That's terrible. And she used to always pump that negativity about my father, until when I actually grew up and I actually had my own mind. Then I finally got one-on-one with my father to see things from his point of view. I was like, look at this. The dude is not really that bad. Like, he was in and out of my life all the way up until 16. But then I was the big one that actually spoke with him one-on-one, gave the call, and then had a dinner with him when I was in my mid-20s. And then I was actually able to think for myself. I realized he's not that bad. He's really not. And that's what happens when you have a parent that is stuck in their childhood issues and they're acting like children and they don't really realize it. And to the point where I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I never really heard my mother say that she forgives my father and she's okay and that she moved on. She rarely even talks about him. So if people rarely talk about people, a certain person, then that means a lot of times that means that they still haven't grown up out of their issues. Especially if they can't just have a one-on-one, face-to-face contact with them without squinching their face or actually being mad at them or mad at them or don't want to talk to them or anything like that. And I realized that for myself is the more I did personal development work. And I don't know how long this video is going to be, y'all, so I'm just going off the top of the head. So I got to talk about these issues. So that's what's going on with my mother. And I realized looking at her now, she still is on a childlike state. So me seeing her that she's still in a childlike state and she didn't evolve and I evolved and still am evolving my mind and spiritually, I realized not to take things seriously with her, let go of the past, and now I'm much more stronger, psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually, and I see that what I went through in the past when she used to whoop my butt, yo, for real, that was one of my issues that I used to didn't like about her, and I realized that when I got older and I actually did the personal development work, that her issues that she had with me was her issues that she had with her father and my father. And she was taking it out on my father and me when I was younger. That's what you fellas, you got to know about your mother. And the ladies, you got to know about your father or anything of that nature. And even your uncles, your aunts and stuff like that. That's what's going on nowadays, and it's been going on for many, many years. You got to understand that they have issues too. But your job is to focus on your own personal development work so you can evolve, you can resolve your own psychological issues, your childhood issues. And then once you do, you'll be able to perceive so much of what's going on, especially with people. And then you realize that it's nothing to really be mad at. Like for me, I was just walking today realizing like, okay, now who else is I'm actually mad at? Is there anybody else that I'm mad at? And I realized no, it's not. So now I can actually face the people that I used to be mad at, including my mother and my father, and I can speak with them. But I realized now speaking with my mother that there's certain things, certain topics that she's not really comfortable talking with. So what you got to do with your parents, your sisters, your brother, your aunties, your uncles, whoever, your baby mom, your baby daddy, whatever, you gotta let them come around. You gotta let them come around on their own. You can't force them. Do not force them to try to come around and talk to you and to give you the things that you want. You want your love, your affection, whatever. No, you gotta move the hell on with your own life, your own personal development. Evolve yourself up here first and foremost. Then you'll be able to have pity for them because you see where they're at and what's going on with them. Now you can relax in your own space because you went out with your own life. And then whenever they come around, they'll come around and they'll give you hints or whatever. And you'll be able to see like, okay, we can talk. But still, don't force nothing on them at all. Do not force anything on them. No kind of hidden agendas. Just let them be. That's how it is with my mother. Just let her be. I see that she's not trying to evolve herself now, so I just let her be in a childlike state, and then if she sees where I'm at in my personal development level, then maybe that'll rub up on her, and then she'll start talking to me and asking me questions so that I can actually help her, because now I can help my mother, because that's what I came to do, and that's why I chose them to. That's what you got to understand, that some of us, we chose to be with our parents to help them grow up. But you can't do that on your mission until you actually grow up first. And I didn't realize that until I actually grew up here first and foremost, and emotionally, that was what I had to do first. So if you're running around being disgruntled about what your mother and your father did, or even your aunt and your uncle did, you can't actually evolve. You can't get your mission done. You can't. And you can't really be successful the way that you want to be successful, including in your relationships. So you got to go ahead and resolve those issues. And one of the top things that I did for me is I did a lot of personal development work being by myself. You have to be comfortable being by yourself, especially in silence. Like times like this, when I'm by myself, if I'm not recording, I'm just sitting here in nature, thinking about my life, my mind, what type of things I need to let go. And then the spirit comes through, starts giving me ideas, suggestions. And then the thing that it led me to is using subliminals. What subliminals do, and also subliminals, we are all subjected to subliminals every single day, somehow, some way. And what subliminals do is they work on the subconscious mind, and it bypasses the conscious mind, and it programs us to have a certain beliefs, perspectives, thoughts, ideas, and behaviors. And what the commercial media does, it does this with imagery first and foremost, and also with the music. The music industry, I'm telling you, the commercial music industry especially, is garbage. I'm telling you, people, you have to understand that. Once you truly understand subliminals and the subconscious mind, you will be amazed at how serious listening to music is, and how damaging it is to your mind. That's why I rarely listen to commercial music and any other music other than my own subliminals, my custom subliminals. You can check my other channel out at NeoOneness Subliminals. That link will be in the description. Usually I put my website in the description, but if you need help with NeoOneness, you'll go ahead and see how that's spelled. But it's NeoOneness Subliminals, Subliminals. There's 2 words, and I'll probably put it somewhere in the video in the editing section. But I use my subliminals to help resolve my childhood issues, and my spirit guided me to subliminals, and they definitely work. I've been using them since 2012 and creating them since 2012, I think, too, also. Yeah, creating them and using my own, and now I actually have them on my YouTube channel for people to use, free ones, and I also have premium paid ones that's on a higher level, that's more advanced, to work even faster for people and to give them a new perspective. So for me, that helped me evolve my mind, and I let them play every single day, and especially throughout the night while I'm sleeping at a low level. You play them at a low level, especially through your sleep. That's where they work really, really good. They get to the subconscious mind, and then they start changing your mental programming that you currently have. And there's so many different subliminals that are available now, and also so many different ones that I can create. I'm pretty much unlimited to what I could create as far as the type of subliminals I create and can create and resolve certain issues. I was thinking about lately, the past few days, creating a one for childhood issues, childhood trauma, because a lot of people need to get out of that childhood trauma, and with subliminals that works. So I got to figure that out to help people out to get out of their childhood issues. So once you do that could put you on so many higher levels, and to be able to do so many different things, because you're not really tied into worrying about your previous issues.